Warning, this video has a little bit of language in it, but it's very important. Very, very important. Can't stress that enough. Let's get to it.
Easiest way to fuck up your life? Have a kid with the wrong woman. Worse, have a kid with a one-night stand. Somebody you don't even fucking know. To be fair to the women in the room, this massively is amplified for you because the carrying cost is usually greater for women than it is for men. So it applies both ways, which is why, by the way, in both nature and in humans, who generally is the more selective? Women, because they fully understand there is an inherent cost to them if the wrong person gets them pregnant. So in the interest of full disclosure, women have it way harder than men do there, but as a man, you want to fuck up your life, have a kid with the wrong person. As a woman, you want to fuck up your life, have a kid with the wrong person. Now, kids are always a blessing. If they come in here, they're dropping in for a purpose, so even if the circumstances are shitty, you can usually look back and think, well, maybe I don't like how this happened, but I absolutely love my children or my child. But just learn that, which means, and the reason I started with men is because who gets to make that decision on the front end? Men.
All right, so peep this. I remember my dad and I having a conversation right before I went to college. I was 18 at the time. And he said, son, if you don't listen to anything else I tell you, I need you to be very mindful about the woman that you choose. Because the woman that you choose will either take you up a notch in life or bring you all the way down to the bottom. He said, don't choose no stupid woman, especially when it comes to sleeping around. He said, I'm not telling you to stay a virgin, because I was a virgin at the time. He said, I'm not telling you to go out here and start, having physical intimacy with women. What I am going to tell you is, if you choose that route, just be careful. He said, I chose your mom, and even though things didn't work out between me and your mom is a smart woman. You don't want to choose no dumb woman. You don't want to choose no irresponsible, nobody for that matter. And here I am, 34 years old, 16 years later. You know what I'm saying? No kids, right? And there's a couple reasons for that. Reason number one, obvious, is because I took into account what my father was saying. I took his wisdom and his knowledge and I ran with it. And from him telling me that was from a real life experience. Because my dad was 20 and my mom was 19 when they had me. Very, very young indeed. So as you can see, I have relatively young parents considering my age, right? I grew up under the mindset of, I don't want to have a child that young. Because although my parents did a great job raising me, and my step-parents too, shout out to them, it's a lot of challenges that come along with raising people at such a young age. But not just that. Imagine if my dad or my mom had been toxic individuals. Imagine if they had been, irresponsible individuals, right? And that's not to say they didn't have their challenges. They were young, but they knew the main goal was to what? Make sure that I had a good upbringing, right? Unfortunately, with some of the people that you meet, they're not going to be responsible. They're not going to have a good upbringing or cause you and your child to have a good upbringing, and so on and so forth. But so many times we get so focused in what? The moment. Oh, this feels good. She makes me feel good. He makes me feel good. Not realizing there are consequences that come along. Because if you want to be out here doing stuff, which that's your business, the least thing you could do is get some protection, wrap it up. You know what I'm saying? Or make him wrap it up. You get what I mean? But unfortunately, people just want to be irresponsible. And being irresponsible is what? Not only choosing the person that's not going to be long-term with you, but also doing it in a manner where it's risky, where not only could you contract the STI, STD, but you could also get someone pregnant or get pregnant. Especially, like the guy said, for those individuals that do one-night stands. It's one thing if that's your long-term girlfriend or boyfriend, and it happens, or even better situation, your husband and your wife, then boom, 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 you good to go. Even long-term boyfriend or girlfriend, at least there's a possibility of something working out, you know what I'm saying? Even though I would say, don't carry before you marry. That's just my philosophy. But then when you got somebody that you just casually hooking up with, or somebody that's a one-night stand, it's like you don't even know that person. And not only that, don't even get me started with the soul tie aspect. He was just talking about the physical aspect. I'll talk about the soul tie aspect with another video. We'll touch bases on that later. Bottom line is this. Fellas, I'm going to start with y'all since I'm a man. You got to be real careful, man, because you mess around. I've seen so many of my friends, so many associates of mine who, I'm not going to say they jacked up their lives, but they definitely set themselves back just a little bit messing around with the wrong woman. And yeah, they're successful, praise God, but it took them a little more time to get to that point because they were deviated off their path, right? Some of my friends and associates had women that they're no longer with, but they are, quality women. And others, they just give them a headache and a heartache. And then I know some ladies that are just like that too, who chose men that are very upstanding, and yeah, things didn't work out, but they doing what they got to do to raise their child. And I've met other women who the man just straight disappeared, or told him like, hey, I don't want nothing to do with this child. Put me on child support, whatever the case may be. I ain't gonna help raise him. It's crazy, man. You really got to be careful who you lay down with. All right? Marcus Frazier from Teachable Tuesdays, here to motivate you, encourage you, and inspire you to be a better you. Hope this helps. Hope you have a great day. I'm not telling you what to do and what not to do. If you choose not to indulge, you have your reasons. If you choose to indulge in physical activity, all that I ask is, if you're not married, use protection. Be careful out here, guys. All right? Much love.